Sisters who watch. Sisters who watch. Sisters who watch.
The drama. Hey y'all, welcome to Sisters Who Watch.
Hello, I'm Shelby.
And I'm Laura, and we're sisters who watch everything. TV, movie, sports, concerts, and even drama. We love to watch and we love talking about it even more. Today we're watching The Drama.
The Drama. A24's newest dark romantic comedy starring Edward Cullen and what was Zendaya's character from Disney days? I didn't watch that, but
I don't remember.
Casey Undercover, is that it?
Before we get into our review, please make sure you're giving Sisters Who Watch 5 stars. 5 stars wherever you listen, rate, download, subscribe. We appreciate your support, and make sure you follow us on Spotify and Apple to get notified of new episodes. Thank you. Okay, Shelby, let's get into our review of The Drama. Can you give us a little background for the movie?
Yes, here is the logline as always. A happily engaged couple is put to the test when an unexpected turn sends their wedding week off the rails. And this is starring Zendaya, Robert Pattinson, Alana Haim of the Haim sisters. Yes, Alana Haim of the Haim sisters. Mamadou Athi. I'm probably butchering his name. I don't know if you remember him, Laura. Did you watch Uncorked?
Yeah, I recognized him.
Do you remember that movie we saw as a family?
Okay, I think I do remember that. But I've seen him in other stuff.
Yeah, he's been around.
Yeah.
So it was I would say like an interesting ensemble cast. And
yes.
Written and directed by Christopher Borgli. I had never heard of him, but
me neither.
Done like a couple films before this. Nothing I had seen, but I'd say this was probably his biggest movie he's done so far.
Absolutely. I've never heard of him.
Yeah, he done Dream Scenario a few years ago. It with like Nicolas Cage was in it. So he's, done a feature film before, just nothing I've seen.
Yeah.
And this was made by A24, of course. A24, not really an indie distributor anymore, but known for making more offbeat, lower budget films. And so this was definitely up their alley.
Yes.
Strong for the A24 brand. And this is something that has had a lot of buzz for a while. I remember when the first still of from them on set dropped, and it was Robert Pattinson and Zendaya walking the streets of Boston. People were like, oh my gosh, what casting? People, so there's been buzz about this for a while.
Yes.
And the marketing campaign was insane.
Going hard.
Did an actual wedding announcement in a Boston newspaper. And then everything was save the date. They really leaned into the wedding stuff.
Yes.
It's an event at the iconic wedding chapel in Vegas.
Zendaya crashed a wedding.
Literally, all of Zendaya's outfits for the various premieres were something old, something new, something blue, something whatever that saying
something
is.
Borrowed, yeah.
Something borrowed. And it was just so iconic. They really, masterclass. I was so into it. How were you feeling about The Drama, seeing it everywhere?
Yeah, I feel like there was a lot of hype around this movie and a lot of excitement, and yeah, this was both, very high on our most anticipated list. I felt like everyone was talking about this movie, and it's the year of Zendaya and all this stuff. Zendaya Spirit Tunnel. Did you see her Spirit Tunnel for J-Hud? Of course.
Did you? Did you also see how she just popped into a random screening in London wearing an Edward Cullen Team Edward shirt?
Oh, yeah, I did see that. She's so literally everywhere. She's doing everything. Yeah, I feel like she's promoting. I've never seen her promote something so much.
Yeah.
Right? I feel
she
like she's
really
everywhere.
Care for it. She must really care about this movie.
She must really care about this movie because I feel like Zendaya isn't so visible all the time. She's more...
No.
Behind the scenes, doesn't interview that much. She was on Jimmy Kimmel. She's been doing a lot of interviews. Yeah, and it's interesting how this is the movie she and the A24 is really, really pushing for, because I do think it is a very edgy film.
This wasn't your traditional rom-com at all.
No.
And I should have known, because Zendaya doesn't strike me as someone that would do a rom-com.
No.
So we all should have peeped. We all should have had the antennas up.
Yeah, we knew that there was some
right.
kind of twist. Like,
because the
that's
trailer,
what I knew.
basically, the trailer showed the key scene of Zendaya and Robert Pattinson, Emma and Charlie, with their best friends, the best man and the maid of honor, at like a dinner, and they all reveal the worst thing that they've ever done. And then Emma reveals it. We don't hear what she says, but then they all freak out. And they're like, "What? You did this? Da da da." And so then everyone, when the trailer dropped, was like, "What did she do? What could she possibly have done?" So it was a really good trailer. It led people to like really freak out. And honestly, I have to commend the cast, the crew, the marketing, everyone, because they kept this film tight.
Yeah.
There's a major plot twist, and I didn't hear anything. Like,
None.
it was real tight, everything about this. And I
Yeah.
think that was really smart because it is a provocative plot twist, and it's something that you want to have natural shock for.
What were your expectations coming into the movie? Did you also expect a rom-com of some sorts?
Well, they marketed it as one, so I did. Again, hindsight, I should have known. Like, Robert Pattinson and Zendaya
I know, they're both
don't really give rom-com. They're more
serious
dramatic actors. Yeah. So should have known that. Definitely not going to be like You, Me, and Tuscany.
Bruh.
But I was excited. I'm not like the biggest Robert Pattinson fan, but after this movie, I'm like, I forget he is a really good actor. Like, he really did bring it.
But the last movie that I think we both saw her in was Challengers.
She's had a break. Yes, she's had a big break.
And that was, I mean, that was 2 years ago. It wasn't that long ago. But yeah, that was like our favorite movie of 2024. We both loved Challengers. So really I think my expectations were very high for the drama. Because like Zendaya's back on screen. She's starring across Robert Pattinson, who, you know, the girlies love. I don't personally love Robert Pattinson, but he's a very buzzy star. And yeah, the marketing was on fire. They're everywhere. So my expectations were very, very high, right? It's A24, it's Zendaya, it's Robert Pattinson. This movie's going to be amazing. That was what I was thinking. How did you feel about the beginning of the movie? The movie gets right into it. We see the meet cute. Robert Pattinson approaches Zendaya in a coffee shop, and it's kind of awkward, and it's quirky, and it's cute. What did you think of how they met?
I thought it was cute. I also think it's funny how he thought she wasn't listening to him, but it's no, she's actually deaf in that ear. And so then he's like getting in his head and thinking everyone's watching him be embarrassed. And I think that sets the tone for his like behavior. Like, I think we realize like he can obsess and overthink things. And I think they both can. Like, I think it's interesting. A lot of times, right, we think people are talking about us or like everyone's looking at us. So I think that kind of paranoia is a theme of the movie.
Yeah.
But then he realizes like, oh shoot, she just couldn't hear me. So she's like, should we just start over? So then he goes back and sits down and then comes over again and like asks her out this time. And I thought that was cute. I thought it was a good meet cute. I also think we learned a lot about their characters in that moment. And I like how the flashbacks were done as they were recounting their stories in their vows or their speeches. And I thought that was a clever way, because a lot of times flashbacks are very obvious or forced or not as like woven into the story. I'm thinking of Reminders of Him. So I do think the way that the flashbacks were done here in the beginning, like just seeing their story, how they met, her laugh, like their first date at that museum where he gets them locked out, like all that stuff, I thought was really cute. And it was all done as they were both talking about their speeches. And so I thought that was a really good setup. And then the main credits start and you're like, oh wait, I feel like I'm watching for like 5-10 minutes. But that was like, I think another good way to be like, okay, this is the build up and now the movie's starting. Now the real story's coming together.
This is the background.
I thought it was really like well edited and structured.
Yeah, I agree. I thought the writing was good. It introduced us to the couple in like an interesting way. And I thought the credit scene was cute when they're learning their dance. I thought that was a really nice scene. And then we're at their like rehearsal dinner or their dinner to like a tasting.
A tasting, like a tasting dinner.
Yeah. And what did you think of this couple? They're best friends. What did you think of the dynamic of this foursome?
Yes. Mike and Rachel. I thought it was interesting. Like, I don't know if they were trying to have race dynamics as a part of the film on purpose, but naturally that's going to happen when you have two interracial relationships, like a black
Yeah, I
guy
thought
with a
that was an
white woman
interesting choice.
and then a black woman with a white man. So
Yeah.
like naturally I'm going to feel it. People are going to feel it when watching it. So I don't know if that was
Yeah.
purposeful, but
I
hopefully
feel
it was.
like it must have.
It must
Yeah,
have,
was
right? I'm like,
Interesting.
interesting
Yeah.
choice. But Mike and Charlie, I guess, went to college together and are best buds. And then Mike married Rachel, played by Alana Haim, and, you know, became buddies with Emma just because Emma started dating Charlie. So
Yeah.
one of those things, like, the guys are the besties, but I think because they've gotten to know each other, that's why Emma and Rachel are friends. But I will say, as we see more of the movie, I'm like, was that really your friend? Like, we'll get into it.
I mean,
but I do think it feels like it was less of a friendship and more like out of convenience. Like, oh, our men are best friends from college. Like, we should hang out.
yeah.
But she made her maid of honor. So obviously there was
strange
some
choice.
depth of relationship, but it did seem like, based on the reaction and behavior later on, like y'all couldn't have really been that good of friends. And we'll get into it.
Yeah, it was interesting. It felt like Zendaya's character was like, we didn't, obviously we get more background about her, but it's like, who are her friends?
She was
like,
isolated.
Like she was clearly isolated. Like she didn't have a community.
Yeah.
And it's like, we learn about her childhood, but we don't learn about who she is now. Right? So I thought that was interesting. It's like, where are her friends? We see a bit of her parents, but besides that, like, who are all the people at the wedding? We don't learn about who she is.
I guess, I mean, she hung out with Rachel. She hung out with the girl, her coworker at her job, and that seemed to be it.
And that was it. Yeah, I just thought that was, I'm like, huh. Yeah. And I guess, you know, that was maybe just more insight onto her character. She was a loner
not
as a
everyone
kid.
has a lot of friends, you know.
And she's a loner as an adult.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So at this tasting dinner, they're like tasting the food and the wine at their venue.
Mm-hmm.
Rachel, this messy woman, is like, let's play this game. Me and my husband did this before our wedding. What's the worst thing you've ever done? What did you think of this question that Rachel asked everybody?
I would not have participated.
It's also like, girl, you're nosy. Like, why are you asking? Like, maybe understand why you want to talk to you and your husband about this, but like, why do you need to know their secrets? Like, isn't that strange?
Yeah, it is strange. I think she wasn't trying to know their secrets. She wanted her husband to say. And then he was like, I'm only going to say it if everyone else says it. So that's, I think, how it happened. Like, I don't think she wanted to know their secrets necessarily.
It's like, why did you bring that up?
She was being messy and she was calling out her husband, and then it led to everyone else be called out. And it was funny because when he told his story of basically letting his ex get attacked by a dog and not, you know, protecting her, then he was like, well, now you gotta go. And she's like, I don't want to. It was like, girl, you literally just made him.
She was so annoying.
So funny. I was like, girl, you just made him say it. And he said, I'm not gonna do it unless, I'm like, classic. And honestly, while watching it and then reflecting on it, I'm like, oh my gosh, she's giving like white woman tears and Karen energy. Like,
she was very much giving Karen.
How Tara and Johnny did Natalie dirty in The Traitors. I thought of how Amanda just did Sierra dirty with Summer House. Like, that's like how I was feeling while watching her behavior.
So what did you think of Rachel's secret? She locked this mentally, you know, he's probably on the spectrum, this child, into a closet and left him there overnight. That's psychotic behavior. And
didn't tell anyone.
And
I was like, oh my gosh, is this poor kid gonna die? Like,
no, like, I'm like, that kid could have. That kid that is traumatized for life. That kid could have like seriously hurt himself or died in that closet, trying to like break out, or like he's like gets depressed. Like, that could have ended so terribly.
100%.
so terribly. And who knows what happened with this kid? This kid could be so messed up and tormented from that. I literally was like, huh? And I like how Robert Pattinson called her out later. She was like, you literally locked a child in a closet.
A mentally ill child. She was like, no, he wasn't mentally ill. He was like, you said he was slow. You said he was slow. Like, he went back at it.
And didn't tell anyone. And she was like, oh, the dad came to our door and asked me and everything. And I said I didn't know. And it's like,
crazy.
Girl, you're out of your mind. Yeah, I thought that was like terrible. And then Robert Pattinson said, oh, I like cyberbullied someone. Like, it seemed he didn't have like a super strong answer.
No.
And then Shelby, tell us what Emma said.
So Emma is drunk and nervous, and she's like, well, I planned a school shooting and didn't go through with it. And they were all like, what? Like,
Yeah.
when I thought of what she could say, that never came to my mind.
No, not at all.
Like, not at all. Like, I was like, oh, this movie's taking a turn. Got it. And it's tough because they all react like it's the worst thing they've ever heard in their lives. And like, she is what they literally debate, like, is she a psychopath? Like, it felt very kind of extreme reaction initially. But then I was like trying to think, like, how would I feel if I heard that? And I'm like, yeah, I'd probably be freaked out, you know?
Yeah, you would
like,
be freaked out.
And so it was tough because I'm a fan of Zendaya, right? So naturally, she's the only like black woman. So naturally, I'm inclined to like root for that character.
Yeah, and defend her.
But then also it's like, yeah, school shootings are awful. And like, I remember being in high school, and like when Newtown happened, there was a girl on our basketball team from Newtown, and like being kind of close up to that and knowing like how that affected, like, even right, she was not even like in that school anymore, but that was like the school she went to. So I know how much trauma there is from school shootings. So it was one of those things. I was trying to wrestle with my own feelings about how they were treating her, but I do think it was shocking. And then the fact that the story then goes to follow, to really lean into it and show flashbacks of Zendaya, like as a middle schooler or high schooler, like with a rifle and leaning into the propaganda. And I was like, what? Like, it really threw me for a loop. And then of course seeing how they all kind of isolated her, vilified her because of the secret that they forced out of her. So it was honestly kind of like an uncomfortable watch for the, like, once that it was out, I was like, what is happening? It was honestly tough to watch. How did you feel about her reveal of the secret?
Yeah, very unexpected. I was like, right. I don't think anyone was expecting that.
No.
Immediately, I was like, that's insane. Like, I reacted similar to them. I was like, oh my gosh. Like, only like an unstable person would do that, right?
Yeah.
Because, right, we're born and raised in the U.S., right? We were in school when the Sandy Hook shooting happened, right? Like, we had lockdown drills, shooting drill. Like, that's just
literally
how it is being a kid at school.
A movie theater, watching all of those Batman movies.
Yeah.
When one of those theaters was shot up, and like, it's crazy to think about that. Like, praise God, we were safe and okay. But like, it is very scary. Like, mass shootings are no joke.
Yeah, it's a very real threat here in the U.S. And that is one of my biggest fears. Like, I'm so scared of guns. And like, anytime I go out, like, I am always thinking like, oh my gosh, like, you just never know, because they have like mass shootings.
It happens at concerts. It happens
anywhere and
like,
everywhere. Yeah. I had a similar reaction to the friends at the table, and they all thought it was a joke. Like, Robert Pattinson, I think he was also in denial. He was like,
he didn't believe it. Yeah,
he was like, that's not real. Haha, what are you talking about? You're being serious. And it's like, why would she joke about that? That was like my first. I was like, why would you think that's a joke? Like, who would joke about such a thing? And it was interesting seeing with like the next day, Robert Pattinson is like trying to like probe and ask questions and understand it. He was like, we need to talk this out. I need to understand why you felt this way for us to move on. And it was interesting. I asked the two girls who I saw the movie with, I was like, if your partner said this is the worst thing that you ever done, how would you react? And would you care, right? Would this be a deal breaker for you? And both of them were like, no, who cares? It's not a deal breaker. And I just thought that was so interesting. They're like, they didn't do it and they were 15 years old. It's like, you were a child.
A lot of, like you're not really thinking clearly. You make mistakes,
Right. And it's not like she ever did anything, right?
Yeah.
You can't blame her.
She then became
like
a gun advocate. Or
right,
not a gun
exactly.
advocate, like
an activist.
A
gun control activist.
Yes.
So I think it was interesting. Like, I would have done the same thing that Robert Pattinson did. I would have been alarmed. I would have been like, I need to understand your reasoning, why you wanted to do such a thing. And I need to know the background. So I would have had the same reaction. I would have been like, let's sit down. We need to talk this out. And what do you think of Emma's rationale? It was not what I was expecting. She was like, I'm depressed. I'm kind of bored. I was bullied.
Yeah.
And there was
fun.
Right. And also just like the gun propaganda in the US, like guns are romanticized and you see them in
100%.
media and they seem fun and right. Like they're everywhere. They're in Walmart. And she was
That's
just
why
like,
I thought that was good commentary.
Yes. I was not expecting that to be the reason. I thought she was like, I hate everyone at school and I just don't want, like, this is my revenge on all my bullies. Like, that wasn't the reason why. She was like, I like the aesthetic. I think they're cool. And it's just like what people did. And I wanted to do it because
and she said she was bullied a little and she was lonely. So that was a part of it, but that was not the core part. With like all the manosphere stuff and like Andrew Tate, like it doesn't shock me like that people can get inundated with stuff online and then be converted to think, oh yeah, like maybe I should do this. Like that was honestly, again, I was shocked it went this way, but I think it is good commentary because sadly people are inundated with this stuff. Like we shouldn't be shocked that someone would just somehow online all of a sudden start to see all this stuff about like why guns are cool, why they're good, and like start posing with them. It wasn't the rationale that Robert Pattinson was wanting to hear. Like,
no, if you were just like, I'm sad, I'm depressed, I hate everyone at school, like that would make more sense to me than like, I just, I love the aesthetic of guns and everyone else is doing school shootings, why shouldn't I? Like that to me was like
he kept being like
more disturbing.
Well, didn't you have like a neighbor die or a friend die at a young age? Like he was looking for
yes,
he was
reasons.
fishing for like a bigger reason that made
not
more
just
sense
like
to him.
Guns
in
are
his
sexy.
Logical mind, he was trying to like connect the dots.
Yeah.
And then he then started to reflect about all the moments they've had together of like where maybe she was like a little violent. Like they're crossing the street and she starts yelling at someone who's trying to run them over. Like she is making a smoothie and for some reason walks into her bedroom holding a knife, which don't know why you would do that.
And he's like,
and she's like, what do you think I'm gonna do? Stab you? And he looks petrified. And then she goes like, and he's like, he really did think she was gonna stab him. Brutal.
Like, and I think that's where the comedy came in. Like those moments, like there were funny moments in the movie when she like lunged at him with the knife.
It was like uncomfortable comedy. Which is why people are saying this is a dark comedy. I'm like, yeah.
And one of my also young Zendaya, love her little character. I don't know who that actress is, but I thought those moments to me were so interesting, and I loved seeing like her background. And one of my favorite, like me and like the people around me were cracking up in the theater when like Robert Pattinson and young Zendaya are like walking around Boston together. I was like, this is crazy.
He literally was losing his mind over this. He couldn't get out of his head like a young Zendaya like holding a gun.
That was so funny. Oh my gosh. And they're like holding hands and like he put his arm around like 15-year-old Zendaya. That was so funny to me. Like he's like so hyper obsessed and focused on this situation, which is fair. Like it's an intense thing to learn like a week before your wedding.
Yes. I don't know if we've emphasized that enough. This is happening like days before they're supposed to get married.
Yes.
And they have to like practice their dance and meet with photographers and like
Get the
take
marriage
photos,
license. Yeah,
and
all
they're
this
just
stuff.
like being so awkward and uncomfortable and like clearly a lot of tension. And
Yes.
then Rachel, the maid of honor, wants to drop out of the wedding. Like all this stuff is happening. We gotta talk about Rachel.
Yeah.
So Rachel, again, married to Mike, the black guy, who's Charlie's best friend from college. She takes, I'd say, out of all of those three, takes the news that Emma wanted to do a school shooting the hardest.
Yeah.
Because she's like, my cousin was hurt in a school shooting, and like this is crazy, and da da da. Like she like is very upset by this and triggered by this, and then like doesn't respond to texts, like supposed to do like a work project for Zendaya's company and is like not responding. Like she kind of goes AWOL a bit and doesn't want to be maid of honor anymore. How did you feel about her reaction?
I thought it was very extreme. It's like, you're not marrying this person. Like, who cares? Be the maid of honor and never speak to her ever again. Like, I don't know why this is such a big deal for her.
And when
she was like, and when Rachel was like, I need to meet with my cousin and make sure that my cousin's okay with me being in this wedding. I literally was like, what is wrong with you? Like, that actually makes no sense. You have to get your cousin's blessing.
Really understand, like in the moment I didn't get it, and then when we see Charlie talk to her cousin on the street, I was like, oh, she's like, because it didn't make sense to me.
It didn't
compute that she was trying to meet with her cousin to get permission. Like, so I was like, oh, like it didn't hit me until her cousin was on the way to meet her, and I was like, what? That is crazy.
Yeah, that's unhinged,
especially
behavior.
Since it's not like it's public knowledge that
Zendaya
did this.
She just like, her family doesn't even know.
Yeah, like keep it to yourself. It'd be different like if she was like a very conservative gun activist or something who was like denies school shootings exist. Like, but that's not who she is.
Right, exactly. So yeah, Rachel was an op this whole movie and very dramatic, and like you said, it was giving Karen. It's like, why are you so passionate about this and just set on making Emma's life miserable? Like, it just felt so strange. Like, this isn't your hill to die on. Like, this isn't your wedding. This isn't the person you're marrying. Why do you care so much? It was giving Karen. It was giving Karen absolutely entitled, very entitled. And also have to make it all about her. All about her.
It also felt like Mike was just kind of like co-signing everything Rachel said.
He was annoying
too. It reminded me a bit of like Janet and Jason from the Valley. Like how Jason just co-signs everything Janet does. And it's like, you can have an opinion or a backbone. Like, it felt like at times he was like, he knew that Alana Haim's character was doing too much, but he like didn't like stop her.
I know, it's like, rise up, bro. Like your wife is acting unhinged.
Wedding, when she's like giving an awful speech, he like is trying to stop her but doesn't. It's like,
and also, why in the world would you even let her start talking? Like, he should have known better. Why did he introduce her?
She should not do a speech. Yeah.
I was like, this man has no backbone. I was like, your wife is unhinged and you're just letting her walk all over you and ruin the wedding. Like, it was so uncomfortable. And
especially like, again, racial dynamics. Like, he's a black man. He was not looking out for Zendaya. Clearly his loyalties were with his white wife and his white best friend. And again, I guess I get that, but I would, hope maybe she could have had an ally in him, but she didn't.
Microcosmic of the real world.
Yeah, she did not have an ally in him.
And something else that I feel like we need to talk about is the reason why 15-year-old Zendaya did not actually go through with a shooting. A shooting at a local mall happened like the same day that she wanted to do it. And I thought that was so interesting because she was obsessed with like the fantasy of like a mass shooting. So she was like, these people already stole my thunder. I'm not going to get all the glory. Like, I want all the attention to be on me and my shooting. And again, like, kind of like Robert Pattinson, he's like, this is not the reason I want to hear. It's not. It's because someone already died from the shooting from your school. And you're like, oh, that's not going to be me. Like, I'm not going to get the glory. It's like so wild that was the reason why she didn't go through with it. And another moment that I thought was really funny, when they're talking about the mall shooting, young Zendaya is like, well, it wasn't technically a mass shooting because it has to be at least 4 people and it was 3. And everyone was looking at her like, why does she know this? And then another student was like, it's always men. Like, it's always these men who do these mass shootings. And then she was like, no, there's been several women who've also done these shootings. And I was like, what? Why did she know about this? And I loved how one kid came up to her and was like, hey, like, you know a lot about this stuff. Like, we should start a club together. Seems like you're really passionate about, gun control and gun safety. And then she becomes a gun control activist.
You can't make it up. And she finally finds community.
Oh my gosh.
And they're like, yeah, you have great voice. You should be the spokesperson. And it's like wild how she found a cause or found something to be a part of.
Yes.
Like unintentionally.
So interesting. Right.
And so I thought that was interesting, kind of just talking about the power of like community and belonging.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because I'd say that also probably stopped her from ever feeling again like that's something she should do, Right.
Yeah, I thought, and it was interesting at the wedding, her dad is giving the speech, and I also thought this was really good. This was a really great plot device because it showed that the parents were, a bit delusional, but it also showed the parents' POV in Zendaya's personal journey. The dad is like, yeah, I'm a military man, and my daughter went from being, a little bit quiet to running this club and being a proud gun control activist, and suddenly, my rifle was gone one day. And I just thought that was so interesting because we see her perspective. She's like, yeah, like I was using his gun all the time. I was using it to practice. It was going to be the weapon that I was going to use in the shooting. And then she dumped in the river kind of for like her own self-control. She's like, I need to get this out of here, right? So that I don't use it. Not necessarily because she's such a proud gun control activist. So it just was interesting seeing like her parents' POV because they completely saw that all so differently.
If Emma never revealed the worst thing she ever did, you never would have known. And I've seen people discuss like, what do you tell partners? Like, what do you tell people in relationships or friendships? Like, is that something she should have shared? And so it is interesting as you just think about, will you ever really know people? Like, yeah. And I think that's probably why Mike and Rachel did that before they got married. Tell the worst thing. So like everything's out in the open. But it is just interesting in general, like how deep do you get in relationships, and like do we actually really know everything about people? Probably not.
Definitely not. And yeah, the parents clearly had no idea that she was using the gun. Like, how did the parents not realize that she was practicing and had the gun in her room at night and was shooting it outside? I'm like, how?
And
like,
I
that
wonder,
is insane.
Like, how they think she lost hearing in one of her ears because she had told people, oh yeah, like I lost birth. Hearing in my ear from birth, but actually it was from holding a gun too close. Like, I wonder how her parents think she lost hearing.
Yeah, that's a bit of a plot hole, I guess. We never found that out. Yeah, would you ask... Wait, let me say this again. Yeah, it's interesting. Robert Pattinson was like, why'd you never tell me this? And she's like, well, this like doesn't really come up. Like, how do you bring this up to someone? So would you ask your partner this question? What's the worst thing you ever did?
I think before this movie, probably not. Like, it would have never come to mind. But now I'm like, it's actually kind of interesting. Like, to try to maybe find some, like, red flags or, like, get deeper.
Yeah.
But also, like, does it matter now? Like, and I think that's genuinely something to think about. Like, everyone has a past, right? Everyone does things maybe worse than others. It's like, does that matter to you? Yeah. And I think that's just a tough, like, human question you got to figure out, like, how much of someone's past matters. Yeah. And so I might be curious, but you have to, if you ask, you have to be willing to be okay with whatever is said. You know?
Right.
You gotta be careful what you wish for sometimes.
Yeah, I think I would want to know. Now I'm like, I need to ask this question to every person. Okay, Shelby, we have to talk about Charlie and his coworker Misha, who becomes a pretty vital character towards the end of the movie. So Charlie is spiraling, and he's eating lunch, and he's like, Misha, what if you found out your partner planned a school shooting and the first thing that comes out of her mouth, she asked a couple clarifying questions, but the first thing that comes out of her mouth, she was like, oh, probably call the police. Call the police? That's the first thing you would do? That's insane. What is the police gonna do?
That confused me
what?
because I was like, this happened.
It happened
First of all,
15 years
nothing
ago.
happened. And
Yes.
second, this happened years ago. What would calling the police do? And
Literally. What
she
would
was
the
like,
police
oh, well,
do?
you know, maybe they're mentally insane or a psychopath. And I'm like, and that also I felt like a commentary, like
Yeah.
the kind of use
Yeah.
of these like strong mental health words. It's like
yeah. Psycho.
just calling someone a psychopath is like, you got to be careful.
Yeah.
Like, that felt very like charged. And
Yes.
that was said a few times in relation to Emma. And I'm like,
I know.
guys-
They're like, she's
you're now
psycho.
saying
She's
she's
obviously
psycho?
psycho.
like
Yeah.
that seems like a bit of a stretch. And I also, if I was Emma, I'd feel like insulted. Like,
Yeah.
yes, obviously this is crazy, but through the 2 years you've known me, you think everything goes away now and I'm a psycho? Like, it's interesting.
Right.
Like, I
It's like
do
you're going to
think-
judge me for something I did when I was 15. I think it's
Yeah.
also kind of like, what's a deal breaker for you? If you were if you were under 18, I feel like you were a kid. Like, you don't really know what you're doing. I feel like that was so long ago.
It's easy to be manipulated. It's easy to be
Yes.
like,
Your brain's not working, right? If
Mhm.
you see all this gun propaganda, it's like these teenagers, right, who are listening to Andrew Tate and like all these people online, like they're easily influenced and believe everything they hear online, right? And that's what happened with Zendaya. She saw all this like gun and romanticization online. It was like, oh wow, like I like this. And it was interesting commentary as well when Robert Pattinson was looking at the brain rot book, and it's like all these women, like models holding guns, and it's like, this is the things, like this is what we're seeing in media, right? And then we're wondering why. And he said this, it's like Americans are exposed to like mass shootings and guns every single day in the media, in schools, at Walmart, right? This is just a common thing in the US, and people are obsessed with the Second Amendment. They're like, I need my guns. And then we're surprised that kids become obsessed with them. And he's like, he's like, I bet there's so many people who have also thought about this, right? But they didn't act on it like Zendaya, and they're just walking around. You just never know who that could be. So I thought that was interesting.
Never know.
Yeah, so he's venting to Misha, and Misha's like, call the cops. And it's like, what? Which is such a bizarre thing to say. And Robert Pattinson just starts spiraling even harder. And you could tell he's just like upset and he's depressed and he's frustrated. He like throws his lunch across the room, and Misha's like, oh my gosh. And then what did you think of after lunch, Misha walks in and Robert Pattinson starts like grabs her and starts like making out with her?
I
What a
thought
mess.
it was just further Charlie's spiral.
Mhm.
And I think, again, it felt like, one, he didn't have a lot of support or help from his like best friend, and you know, like
Right.
it felt like people weren't really like supporting him as he was dealing
Right.
with this.
And he can't
And
really talk
even-
to people,
He
many
can't really
people
talk
about
to people
this.
about it. And then Emma isn't really giving him the answers he wants to hear. So he's like, and he's supposed to get married in like 2 days. Like, I can understand why he was so overwhelmed, but that does not excuse like that behavior. Like, you should
Yeah, that was
not
insane.
all of a sudden started like kissing your coworker and getting ready to have sex with her. Like, that's crazy. Like 2 days or a day before your wedding. Like,
And
what?
also the way that Misha just was like,
obliged.
yeah, that
When
was
she's in a
bizarre.
relationship, I was like, yikes.
She
y'all are
immediately
crazy.
was like, just bent over and lift up her skirt. I was like, girl, where is your agency?
Crazy.
You could have been like, hey, I mean, maybe you could argue she was scared of getting fired, but it's like, girl, I thought that was bizarre how she was so quickly like, yes, let's
Crazy.
do this. Yeah, so that was bizarre, and I was just like, bruh. And it was interesting because, right, you could argue because he kissed her, he cheated, but he like almost had sex with her, right? He almost cheated on Emma, and it's
He
like,
did cheat by
Well,
kissing
yes.
her, in my
Yes.
opinion.
I agree. And you can also say, well, Emma, right, almost did a school shooting, right? So it's like these two things Is it a deal breaker for Emma that he kissed someone and almost had sex with her? Is it a deal breaker for Charlie that she almost did a shooting when she was a kid? So I just thought that was interesting. Now there's like two things that they're kind of holding over each other that they have to work through and kind of forgive each other for.
And then we go to the wedding day. Probably
Crazy.
Worst timing to have a wedding, given they are like at odds. Like the maid of honor hates them. Like just weird energy all around. His family flew in from England. Like everyone senses the tension, and things go awry during all of the speeches. And again, at the beginning, when I talked about like paranoia, like they both felt like everyone was gossiping and everyone was talking about the school shooting and him kissing Misha. Like it felt like they were all in their heads so much.
Yeah.
Like everything was getting to them. And it then leads to that awful maid of honor speech by Rachel where everyone's like, what's going on? And then that makes Emma run out to the bathroom, and then she hears Misha talking about a school shooting. And when she's in the bathroom, we think that's what she hears, but who knows?
Yeah.
And then, right, because it could be all in your head. But then Zendaya gets Charlie, and she's like, you need to get Misha. I'm convinced, Misha knows about the shooting because of Rachel. And then he's like, oh my gosh, no. And then Misha comes into the room and is like, we only kissed and it wasn't supposed to happen. It meant nothing. And Zendaya's like, what? And she and then I was like, brutal. And then Misha's like, yeah, that's why I thought you called me in here, because of the kiss. And then she was like, is the school shooting thing real? And I was just like, brutal.
What a mess.
What a mess. And then they all go back into the room for the wedding reception, and Robert Pattinson's supposed to give a speech, and it's like the worst speech ever. It's like word vomit.
I know, that was so bad.
All the things he wasn't supposed to say, he was like, yeah, we have great sex. And he did the arm hand motion. He was like, yeah, she didn't do anything wrong. And then he's like, yeah, kissing Misha meant nothing. And then Misha's partner, Blake, gets up and punches him or headbutts him. And
I was like, whoa. That was crazy.
Like, it was chaos. And then he starts bleeding, and Emma runs out. And then, like, wait. And then remember, even when that new DJ accidentally plays, accidentally makes a weird sound, and everyone thinks it's like a gunshot while the dad's giving his speech.
Talking about rifles.
It's like, this movie. Even like the fact that they fired the DJ because she was doing heroin on the street. And classic, Charlie has Emma do it instead of standing up. And
I know, it's like, stand up, bro. Because he's the one who had such a problem with it.
It literally felt, I'm telling you, so much of this movie felt like those ice skaters doing Natalie dirty. It was like, give me a break.
I thought that was interesting. If you saw your wedding DJ a few days before the wedding doing drugs on the street, what would you do?
I don't think I would have. But it would be like, do I think the fact that they do drugs affect their performance?
That's what I'm saying.
I don't think so. So objectively, it's like, okay, like, I don't own you. I'm not your parent. Like, you can do whatever you want. Mm-hmm. As long as you're not doing it during
as long as you're not under the influence at my wedding, I don't care. The amount of people we all work with who are probably doing crazy things on the weekends, it's like,
I was like,
who cares? That's
as long as it's not inhibiting you to do your job.
Like, and also it's like the wedding DJ, this is someone you're gonna see for like a few hours one day. Who cares, right?
Well,
all of us are
in
judgy.
Boston, and they were highly educated.
A pretentious city.
They were working at museums, and so doesn't shock me.
What was Zendaya's job? Was that clear?
I think she was a writer or a publicist looking for a magazine, something.
I think one of the takeaways in the movie is that like everyone is judgmental, and it's like maybe we need to not be so judgmental, right? Because like, what thing is worse than another thing? Is cheating on your partner right before the wedding worse than planning a school shooting when you were a kid? Is smoking heroin on the street, does that make you inept to be a wedding DJ? Like, it's all these things. I thought that was kind of the takeaway for me. And then after Robert Pattinson gets headbutt, chaos, the wedding, the wedding ends, everyone's screaming, Zendaya runs out, and you see Robert Pattinson, he's sulking. And he's alone in their apartment. He goes to that diner that
He's
they had
calling
talked
Emma.
about.
She's not answering.
Mm-hmm. So he goes to the diner alone that they like to go to. And he's sitting there sad. And you see Emma walk into the restaurant.
She walks past him. She goes to order. She then comes back to the table and is like, is anyone sitting here? And he's like, no, please. And she's like, my name's Emma. What's your name? And I was like, what a good callback.
Mm-hmm.
And then he's like, Charlie. And then she was like, do you live around here? And then so basically they start over, which is a callback to their first date. It's a callback to like in the middle of the movie. They did that a few times and I love that. Give me symmetry. And it felt like a good way for the movie to end. They both, on both sides, right? With Emma's announcement of planning a school shooting, with Charlie kissing Misha and then ruining their wedding reception. Like, they both had messed up, and it felt like they are now crazy married and need to start over.
Yeah.
And kind of
clean slate.
And so I thought that was a really clever way to end the movie.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I personally, when people are like, act like, oh, what's your name? Let's just start over. Like, I just find that to be kind of like an annoying thing to do. Like, what do you mean start over? And forget about all the things that happened. But in the movie, it made sense. Yeah, I thought the ending made sense. I think it was a particularly satisfying ending. Not necessarily. I'm like, so much chaos just happened, and then they're just gonna, pretend like nothing happened, right? And just move forward. And that I think that's also microcosmic of marriage. A lot of times you just have to forgive, forget, and move on, right? In order to make the relationship work. Yeah. And something else I wanted to ask you about. Remember we saw some flashes on the wedding day where, there was like a scene of bodies and blood and people running out of the room. Do you remember that?
Yes.
What do you think that was? Do you think that was like a Charlie hallucination?
Yes.
Right?
I think Charlie was so like out of it that he then was just hypothesizing that, wow, Emma must be just really violent. And like, that's what I think it was. Him thinking like, whoa, we should shoot up our wedding day. Yeah. And I also think that was a way to trick us. Because it was like, oh, what's going to happen?
Is this what's actually going to happen?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Because that did cross my mind.
Yeah, but I was like, there's no way. I'm like, there's no way a shooting's gonna happen in this wedding. That would be crazy.
Yeah, that wouldn't make sense.
Yeah.
So, Shelby, what do you think the takeaway of the drama is? What do you think the movie means?
I think it's one trying to like, because I'm pretty sure the filmmaker is like European. Mm-hmm. And so I think it is a critique on kind of American culture, particularly around like gun control and gun violence. Yeah. So I think it's pretty scathing, in my opinion, like showing how our culture around guns can impact people. And like there was even a line in the movie that was like, who knows? Think about how many people have thought about like picking up a gun and doing a shooting. And I was like, we need to think about it, but there's probably a lot of people that have thought about maybe not a mass shooting, but killing someone like because of just like how prolific guns are and violence, whether it's in video games or movies or just YouTube, social media, propaganda. Like it is very prevalent. The race stuff maybe more unintentional just because of the casting, but I do think this is a movie that has you thinking, and it's a movie that has a lot to say, which I commend them for. It's
a very nuanced, layered film that I was engaged and kind of on the edge of my seat. Like you didn't really know what was going to happen. And like you said, guns in the US and how prevalent they are, and how like not every kid just wants to do a school shooting because they're sad and depressed. Like it's because guns are just so ingrained in our culture. So I thought that was unexpected. I wasn't expecting that to be the reason why young Emma wanted to do it. For me, the drama is a watch. I think it's a specific movie. I don't think everyone will enjoy it. But overall, I did enjoy it. Was it like a slam dunk for me? Was it a 10 out of 10? No. But I did think it was a good, thought-provoking movie. Like, I wanted the ending to be maybe a bit more like satisfying. But I did like it. But I mean, compared to a movie like Challengers and other Zendaya movies I've seen, like I wasn't blown away. But I did think it was good and interesting and entertaining.
Yeah, I also think it's a watch, but to your point, right? I am more of like a rom-com, uplifting, lighthearted girl.
Yeah.
That's typically what I like to watch.
Right.
There was nothing lighthearted about this.
No,
Like,
it was
even like the comedy was
dark.
like dark, and it was like
Yeah, it was a
uncomfortable.
dark comedy.
Like, should I be laughing
for
at
sure.
this? So I do think, like, I don't know if it's something I'd watch again right away. You know,
Mhm.
like I do think it was. I don't even know if enjoyable is the term, because it, like I mentioned to you, there was like some uneasy moments. Like, I
Yeah.
don't think it was like a fun watch by any means.
Yeah.
Like, I think this is an uncomfortable film.
Yeah.
And I think it's hard to achieve that. So again, in that, it's like impressive. They were
Yeah.
able to have the plot twist. They were able to like lead to a lot of conversation and have people kind of wrestle with how they're feeling.
Mhm.
So I applaud the filmmaker, I applaud the actors, I applaud the team. Like, it was really well done, but not like the most enjoyable film I've seen just because of the subject matter.
Yeah. It was definitely, a difficult movie to watch because of the
Yeah.
subject matter. But yeah, I thought it was well done for sure.
Definitely watch. I think it's one of the
Yes.
more talked about movies of the year.
Do you think the drama will get any awards buzz?
I don't know. It's very obviously kind of controversial. Like, there's already some gun advocates, or not gun
Gun control activists.
Yes, gun control activists who are saying, or victims of school shootings saying, you shouldn't make light of school shootings. Like, so there's already some, like, this is a controversial film.
Yeah,
100%.
it's polarizing.
It's polarizing. So I do think that can sometimes hurt a movie. But, Sinners came out last year in April and somehow kept momentum going all the way to the Oscars. So it's possible. Get Out came out in like February. So like, that can happen. Movies can come out and keep conversation going for a year. I don't know. I think, especially since I love Zendaya, but I don't think this was her best performance.
No.
I think Robert Pattinson was honestly better. He had more to do with his role.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, his role was definitely more meaty.
So I think if acting wise, it would be him over her. I think writing potentially. I think it was a really interesting.
I thought the writing
script.
was unique. And interesting.
So I could see potentially buzz around writing or Pattinson, but because, and this relates to what to watch, Robert Pattinson and Zendaya are in 2 more movies together this year.
Yeah, crazy.
There could be other things that might trump this in terms of like awards contention. So they're both in The Odyssey, Christopher Nolan's new film that comes out in July, and they're also both in Dune Part 3, Denis Villeneuve's movie, conclusion to the trilogy, the Dune trilogy that comes out in December. So it's a big year for them, and will this be able to keep momentum up against those? I don't know.
Yeah.
It depends, like, if it becomes one of A24's tentpoles, A lot of times it's the studio if they'll push it.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think this movie will get a lot of awards buzz. I think if anything, like original screenplay, because I think the story was really unique. I've never seen a movie or story like this. So anytime that happens, I am impressed to surprise
plot
me.
Twist for real was like.
Yeah. And I think it was well done. Like, there was interesting commentary. I still think it had funny moments throughout the movie.
100%.
And it makes you think, right? A lot of movies don't make you think. And this movie is very thought-provoking.
Definitely positive.
Right. So I can see why people have a problem with it. Especially, I can imagine how triggering that movie is. If, like, you've gone through something like that. So
especially when you're not expecting it. You're like, what?
Yes. Exactly. If you're coming into this movie expecting, like, a rom-com, and you have gone through something like that, and the whole movie is about like school shootings, like I can imagine that's probably like very.
That's honestly probably why it was uncomfortable for me, because school shootings, guns, that stuff just makes me really uncomfortable.
How was the box office doing? Do you know?
It had a solid opening. It had a North American debut of 14.4 million, which is roughly in line with some of the other A24 releases. Like Hereditary did 13.5 million, Marty Supreme did 17 million in its opening weekend. So like not amazing.
Yeah.
But I think for like a romantic polarizing drama, I think solid,
Yeah,
you know?
especially for the subject matter.
Yeah,
and
for the subject
everything.
matter. But I think they were probably hoping for more, given
Yeah,
Reddit stars and Dan
considering they've
Pattinson.
done a ridiculous
Yeah.
amount of press for this movie, yeah, I thought
So
more
I don't know if it's
people would have seen
disappointing,
it.
but it's like fine.
Soft, yeah.
And so I do
Okay.
think it'll be interesting to see now that people see it, how if word of mouth will be negative or positive.
I
Because
think
that
if
did-
anything, word of mouth will. I don't know if negative's the right word. I just think it's people might be like, yeah, I don't know if you want to see it because it's an uncomfortable movie, right? It's not cute and light and fun rom-com that you thought it would be.
No.
So I think the word of mouth might not help the movie. Okay, on to our what to watch segment. As you talked about, there's a whole lot more of Zendaya and Robert Pattinson that we're seeing this year. What are you most excited for that's coming up for them?
I think both the Odyssey and Dune Part 3 are going to be great. I think the Odyssey, given that's a book like I read growing up, and it's Christopher Nolan, I'm probably a little more excited about that. Like I've seen both the Dune movies. I'm not the biggest sci-fi person, but I will see Dune Part 3. Like if it's a lot of like I probably will eventually see Project Hail Mary because people are talking about it. Like if something is like a big movie, I eventually will probably see it.
Yeah.
Especially since I have AMC Subsay list. So it feels like free.
Yes, you do. Yes, I'm definitely more excited about the Odyssey. I think that'll be more interesting. I watched the Dunes on a plane and I thought they were fine. So I'm definitely more intrigued about the Odyssey. All right. Well, if you enjoyed this episode of Sisters Who Watch, please make sure you're giving us 5 stars. 5 stars wherever you listen. Rate, download, subscribe. We really appreciate your support. Make sure you're following us at Sisters Who Watch wherever you are on social media, and follow us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts to get updates when we release new episodes.
Yes, and we really want to hear from y'all, so comment, DM, all the things. Let us know how you're feeling, what you want to hear from us. We appreciate the support so much.
Yes,
thank you for tuning in. Stay watching.
Bye, stay watching.